Hello and welcome to Actually Intelligent. I am Max Tone, your host, and today I am joined by Luis Loaiza, the CEO and founder of Jelou.ai. Luis, welcome to the show and thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for having me, Max. Thanks for having this time to share about our vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't we just start right there? I'd love to have you tell me more about your company and what it is you're building.
Sure. So our company right now is building transactional infrastructure for AI applications that are built on top of WhatsApp. So
Okay.
WhatsApp is, the a very like a widely used digital avenue in emerging markets.
Awesome. I was curious about that when it comes to WhatsApp as the platform. You mentioned in emerging markets. Could you elaborate a little bit more there just on why choose WhatsApp as kind of the avenue for what you were trying to build?
Yeah, so basically today, what's happening in Latin America and surprisingly in the US, you know, WhatsApp is a messaging application that more businesses are using to interact with their customers. And at least in, Brazil, the US, and Mexico, these are the three largest countries in the whole region in the Americas that are using WhatsApp. And most of the time, businesses are using WhatsApp to start communication with their customers. And the problem that arises is that, of course, they're receiving a lot of these messages and they're not able to automate them. So that's a problem. AI is obviously solving that problem with automation of customer service. However, it's like, being a busy street with only an informational stand. So if you only reply with answers of frequent asked questions, you're not capitalizing that channel. So that's where we are, you know, um, that's where we are trying to get into and solve this problem and add transactional layers so that businesses, banks, and different kind of organizations can start a transaction, complete a transaction within the chat.
So how do you guys help facilitate those conversations with the platform and technology that you're building?
So we're basically building this Replit for WhatsApp AI apps. This builders and even businesses can build an AI application that can use authentication layers, ID validation, so you can do an onboarding process through the chat. You can also integrate different payment processors, so you can conduct transactions through the chat. You can actually build an agentic payment experience within this WhatsApp platform. So we're sitting on top of these messaging applications, but we're adding these transactional layers.
Gotcha. And when companies, so are you guys building the apps for, it sounds like, and I did some research here, a lot of it is regulated industries. Are these companies that are approaching you and asking to help build this types of layers within WhatsApp, or are you guys making it available to anyone to be able to use?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we started building for these companies, right? We started with enterprise customers. Actually, our first company was it is a bank because it's still our customer. And they wanted to build a chatbot in Facebook Messenger, for example. They wanted to enable their customers to do queries to their bank statement and pay bills through Facebook Messenger. So we started building this platform so any bank can start, creating this kind of chatbots in this messaging applications. So we added WhatsApp, we had different other messaging channels, and that's how we started. Now we are kind of democratizing this technology. and helping developers build these applications for these businesses. Uh, it can be small businesses, but also banks, right? So we're becoming more like and the operating system behind.
Yeah. And so you mentioned operating system right there at the end. Is that your brain operating system that I saw you guys recently announced?
Correct. We call it Brain OS. So what we do there is we provide developers with authentication tools, identity validation, and different integrations with software that banks, retailers, and different other organizations in these different countries are already using, but in mobile applications and websites. But all this software was never built for the agentic world or WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing is integrating all this ecosystem and facilitating developers to integrate this and build, an onboarding process so a bank can enable their customers to open a bank account through WhatsApp, so they don't need to download a new mobile application. They just use, the channel that they use every day to talk with, family, friends, and other businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've also mentioned chatbots, and I was doing a little research into your background, and I saw that you started building chatbots at a very young age. I think it was 14 is what I saw. I was curious, looking back on your experience, you've obviously founded several companies at this point and have been building your whole life. How have things changed building today compared to when you started, and how has AI impacted that?
Well, it sounds like very obvious. The answer is, of course, it has changed a lot in terms of the acceleration of um, the time that you spend building something, right? When I started, you know, getting this passion about chats, I was testing the IRC protocol and chatting with my friends in, high school, and I figured out there was a programming language behind, and they built my first chatbot. It was a simple thing. That was a frequent asked question chatbot back then. But I started getting in love with programming with chat, and later on in my career, before graduating from college and university, um, I started my first company, and we connected BlackBerry with iOS and Android. It was the first time someone was building an app to um, try to connect all these different operating systems and do this real-time communication. So I was always curious about real-time communication, real-time games. So I built a game back then as well. Um, and basically, all my startups were around this kind of real-time communication thing, protocols. We also built a Telegram kind of app,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in 2012, called
Wow.
Cryptext. And it never, you know, it never succeed. It was also an encrypted email application, so you will send an email and it will disappear if you want. It was kind of a, Snapchat for emails. And that was interesting because as we were entering into a market that today, um, banks and different financial institutions in the U.S. are appreciating because of all this sensitive information that you send over emails. There's a
Right.
couple of companies back then that were our competitors, like Proton Email and other folks. But that was interesting because we enter also into this cybersecurity kind of business, and
Yeah.
that was also an important knowledge that we gathered and that we are taking advantage today to add security layers to a massive communication channel, where of course banks and different institutions are kind of scared of sending and receiving information through these channels. So we're putting this encrypted layers as well on top of these messaging applications.
Yeah, I love that. And I also saw your that background about building a very popular multiplayer game. I'm curious what the name of it was. I'm a bit of a nerd myself, so I love hearing these stories too.
Yeah, in 2010 we launched a multiplayer game. It was a core game. It was kind of like a poker game
Okay.
that is very popular in Ecuador, in South America, and it was called, the game was called Club 40. So
Okay.
40 is the name of the game is a number. Is Yeah, the name is 40. So it was built in Facebook. Remember
Okay.
the days of Singa and Mafia Wars and all this, social gaming, it was
Yeah.
called back then. So I started that business in South America. I was, building my first startup around social gaming and using multiplayer engines. Well, I built actually the multiplayer engine and started this game, and it was like very very popular. It became like a something that gave us a name in the country as prominent developers and like a software company.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to really kind of dive into AI a little bit more now. And I think one of the things I'm curious about when it comes to building, especially for agentic AI, what are some of those kind of challenges you have ran into, especially because you've had experience with chatbots from before, and now you have AI that's able to automate a lot of things. Yeah, I'm really curious to know kind of what are some of those challenges building with it today.
There are there's a lot of hype and noise around AI. Enterprises want AI, but they want it secure, right? So I think that the challenge today is how you can program intelligence. This is not my idea. I mean, it's these are ideas that are coming from very bright minds in the U.S. and around the world, and I second with that thesis because you have a lot of general intelligence already that's out there. It's billions of people that have intelligence, but still enterprises and businesses need processes. They need control. They need regulations. So at the end of the day, in order to deploy something that can really um, execute work and transactions, you need to control and orchestrate those AI applications and AI agents. So today, the challenge is to educate the market, especially in emerging markets and even in the US. Everyone's crazy about AI. Startups are growing really fast, but at the end of the day, companies really need to have everything under control and that they can use AI um, with putting AI um, to work towards the objective of the company, right? You don't
Yeah.
want surprises to happen, especially in security. So that's a
Yeah.
challenge right now, right?
Okay. Yeah, security has definitely been a big topic, and I read about it and hear other clients talking about it all the time. What I'm curious about is what are like, how do you address issues of security? Is it infrastructure? Is it how you are programming the intelligence? Um, I'm curious, kind of like how do you view it, and how do you like to try and address it?
Yeah. So today, we are adding, we are enabling tools for companies um, to secure these behaviors, these agentic behaviors, especially um, to integrate authentication with the end user. At the end of the day, you need to validate identity and understand if that transaction or that work or that process that the AI is going to do is actually approved by that user, right? So just like credit cards, you have technology that we still have a lot of problems with payments. Um, with the conventional way to pay with credit card, there's a lot of frauds. So now you're adding a new level because
Yeah.
the agentic, experience is basically I'm just throwing a task to a couple of agents and they have to figure it out. And um, I need to authorize them. I need to put guardrails, and so how we're doing is we are adding these layers. So we help these companies authenticate users, validate their identity, put regulatory frameworks around the tools that these AI applications use, so they can be in compliance with their local regulators and and government. So in that sense, we're helping them also uh, adopt AI, because one of the problems of adoption is and a real AI that can actually conduct transactions, that can actually finish a task and a work. Um, if you want to adopt that kind of AI technology, you want to be safe, right? You want to be secure. So you need this kind of tools.
Yeah. I'm curious on the topic of adoption with AI, and you're based in South America. What is kind of the adoption like of AI in your communities and in South America?
So there's still a lot of people that are not familiar with ChatGPT. I mean, that's basically the opportunity of adoption. They still don't understand really well how to use it. Um, and I think the problem is that this technology is going super fast. And it's not about the emerging market per se, but I think it happens, everywhere in first world countries as well. Um, Businesses are not realizing that there's complexity when you want to deploy uh, a production level application.
Yeah.
Because for demos, I mean, you have Lovable, you have Cursor, and this is kind of the rhetoric of Replit or V0 right now. Hey, let me give you an infrastructure that you can be uh, in control and secure, and we are helping you build applications for production and not demos. So the demo market is huge. Everyone can build a demo today. Everyone can build a website, but transactions, move money, open a bank account, underwrite a credit with a signature that is, allowed in your country, not the DocuSign of the US, but the DocuSign of this kind of country specifically that is approved by the government and by the, entity that is regulating that. That is complex. So that
Yeah.
complex infrastructure to put that into the agentic world is kind of that, challenge, and that slows adoption. And even lawyers are trying to catch up with this kind of things, and they didn't even know that some things are allowed. Um, so I think there's a lot of education that is needed in terms of um, how AI can be secure,
Yeah.
and that is safe to adopt. So that's the main thing. But I think that adoption is coming. I see a lot of acceleration when you see these kind of applications that are actually saving money or generating more income to the business. So for example, last year uh, we executed more than $120 million in financial
Wow.
operations through this kind of applications on top of WhatsApp. So that is, proving
Yeah.
you know, uh, is some not a concept. It's proving an actual application.
People are using it, they're trusting it, and it's safe and it's working. Yeah, that is really really a great number. I love that.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
so you've mentioned security. You also were touching on infrastructure there, and I was looking around and I noticed that at some point you had mentioned that infrastructure is core to really driving AI value. When did you have that aha moment? And I guess you've explained what you mean by that, but like when did you have that kind of like, the only way we're really going to get value out of this is if we have that infrastructure to make sure it is as robust as it needs to be.
And yeah, the answer, there's multiple answers. I think the foundation of the things that I have built
Yeah.
are around standard. Um, and you need to create new standards because the old way to do it is not sustainable, it's not scalable. And as we mentioned before, we were building chatbots in 2017 where, OpenAI wasn't around and generative AI wasn't, in the picture. It was in the, in the books, in the papers. Um,
Yeah.
but once it started, everyone was able to build a chatbot, an informative one, of course. So now, when that started, and that was 2022, we raised our first round, seed round, because we realized we needed to build an operating system, um, so we can start adding this technology that was out there and wasn't prepared for this new world.
Mhm.
And we were correct. I mean, today there's a lot of startups building e-commerce chatbots, and especially in WhatsApp, you have WhatsApp commerce, let's say. And but the real value is, how can I enable anyone to build a WhatsApp commerce? Not only the developer, but that store owner that um, is he probably knows how to set up a Shopify store. Probably with a prompt, he can build an AI store in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So how can I enable that? And that's our vision basically. We want to be the operating system. We want to be the Microsoft. We don't want to be an app, like uh, a spreadsheet app. We want to
Right.
be the operating system that is running different kind of applications, and that other developers can build those applications on top of us. So I think that's the main foundation uh, of our existence, let's say.
Excellent. Excellent. Luis, could you tell me a little bit more about the future of interfaces? Because what you're building is an interface at its core.
Sure. Look, so generative AI is definitely changing how humans are connecting with software. Um, Conversational interfaces today are, very common, um, and they feel natural. Um, Now you can just, send a voice note or talk to an AI, an AI voice agent, and try to, solve something.
Yeah.
But once we get to a next level of technology, interfaces are going to be, um, more frictionless in that sense. What I mean is, um, we can see brain interfaces coming into the game.
Yeah.
Maybe we're talking, 5 years from now, or maybe less. Uh, we all have heard about the initiative of Neuralink from Elon Musk, and once we are integrated with all the AI, it's gonna be better just to think and send an email.
Yeah.
So you will never have the incentive to grab your phone and go to the email app and write the email and send the email if you can just think about it. So I
Yeah.
think that that interface is gonna be um, there's gonna be less friction between the human and the computer in every couple of years that pass. And that I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be the most important thing that happens probably in the next few years.
Yeah. So we're just going to continue to experience less and less friction when it comes to interacting with technology. And I think that that's a great place to end, because that is exactly what you are building and are offering right now through WhatsApp.
Yeah, sure. I think that's where we're heading. And I mean, with me, with you or without you, I mean, this is gonna happen. We
Yeah.
just have to be prepared and build solutions for it.
Yeah, exactly. Find ways for everyone to work together.
Sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
What we'll
Max.
do, yeah, thank you.